Before I tell you this story, if you've ever had a friend you trusted completely, someone you shared everything with, you need to hit that subscribe button right now. What I'm about to share will change how you see friendship, trust, and the people closest to you. Turn on those notifications because this story is a warning about betrayal from the person you'd least expect. Stay until the very end. You'll understand why. Now let me tell you about the 10-year friendship that destroyed my entire life. They say your best friend is the person who knows everything about you and loves you anyway. But what they don't tell you is that sometimes the person who knows everything about you uses that knowledge as a weapon. And the closer they are, the deeper they can cut. My name is Kemi Badmus. I'm 30 years old. And until 1 year ago, I thought I knew what friendship meant. I thought I had found my soulmate. Not romantically, but the kind of friendship that feels like family. The kind where you share everything, trust completely, and believe that no matter what happens, this person has your back. I was wrong. So terribly, devastatingly wrong. This is the story of how my best friend of 10 years, my sister, my confidant, my ride or die, turned out to be the most dangerous person in my life. And by the time I realized it, she'd already destroyed everything I had. I met Bisola when I was 20 years old. We were both starting our national youth service in Lagos. She'd been posted from Ibadan, I was from Abuja. Neither of us knew anyone in Lagos. We were assigned to the same primary school in Surulere for our teaching placement. On the first day of orientation, I was sitting alone, nervous and overwhelmed, when this girl with the brightest smile sat next to me. "First time in Lagos?" she asked. "Is it that obvious?" I laughed nervously. "Same here. Want to navigate this chaos together?" That was Bisola. Warm, friendly, easy to talk to. By the end of that first week, we were inseparable. We'd go to orientation together, teach together, explore Lagos together on weekends. When we both struggled to find accommodation, we decided to share a small one-bedroom apartment in Yaba to save money. Living together cemented our friendship. We talked for hours every night about our dreams, our fears, our families, our past relationships. I told her things I'd never told anyone. About my strict parents who wanted me to be a doctor when I wanted to be a writer. About my ex-boyfriend who cheated on me and destroyed my trust in relationships. About my insecurities, my ambitions, my deepest secrets. And she shared too. Or at least, I thought she did. She told me about growing up poor in Ibadan. About her mother who cleaned houses to send her to school. About her determination to make something of herself in Lagos. "We're going to make it together," she'd say, squeezing my hand. "You and me. We're going to build amazing lives in this city." I believed her. God, I believed her completely. After our service year ended, we both decided to stay in Lagos. I got a job as a content writer at a small marketing agency. Bisola got a job in sales at a telecommunications company. We were both starting at the bottom, but we were doing it together. We kept living together, upgraded to a better two-bedroom apartment in Ikeja as our incomes grew. We'd celebrate each other's wins, comfort each other through losses, support each other's dreams. When I got my first big writing gig, a well-paying freelance contract, Bisola threw me a surprise party. When she closed a major sales deal, I bought her favorite perfume as a celebration gift. We were each other's biggest cheerleaders. "You're the sister I never had," she told me once, tears in her eyes. "I don't know what I'd do without you." "Same," I said, hugging her tight. "It's you and me against the world." Over the next few years, our lives evolved, but our friendship remained constant. I started getting more writing opportunities, building my portfolio, making connections in Lagos creative circles. Bisola climbed the ranks in her company, becoming one of their top sales representatives. We dated different guys, went through breakups together, supported each other through family drama. When my father fell sick and I had to send money home regularly, Bisola helped cover my share of rent for 3 months without complaint. When her mother needed surgery, I lent her 200,000 naira without hesitation. That's what friends do, right? We had each other's backs. Always. By the time we hit our late 20s, 5 years into our Lagos journey, both our careers were thriving. I'd saved enough to start my own content creation agency. Bisola was making serious money in sales and had been promoted to team lead. We moved into a nicer apartment in Lekki, a beautiful 3-bedroom place that felt like we'd finally made it. We'd come from sharing a cramped 1-bedroom in Yaba to this. We'd toast with wine on our balcony overlooking the Lagos skyline, laughing about how far we'd come. "Remember when we could barely afford transport to work?" Bisola would say. "Remember when we'd share 1 plate of rice to save money?" I'd add. We'd laugh, grateful for our journey, grateful for each other. That was 3 years ago, the peak of our friendship. The moment I thought nothing could ever come between us. I didn't know that Bisola's smiles were hiding something dark, something that had been growing for years, waiting for the right moment to destroy me. The first crack in our perfect friendship came when I met Tund. I'd met him at a networking event. A successful architect, charming, intelligent, ambitious. We connected immediately, started dating. Within months, I was in love. Real, deep, this might be forever love. I introduced him to Bisola, of course. She was my best friend. I wanted her approval, her blessing, her excitement for me. He's great, she said after meeting him. Really great, Kimmy. You're lucky. But something in her tone felt off. Not quite enthusiastic enough. Not quite genuine. You don't like him? I asked, worried. No, I do. He's perfect. I'm happy for you. I dismissed the weird feeling. I was probably just being oversensitive. Over the next few months, as my relationship with Tund got more serious, Bisola started acting strange. She'd make little comments. Tund seems like he has a wandering eye. Did you notice how he looked at that girl at the restaurant? Are you sure he's as successful as he claims? Some guys in Lagos exaggerate. I'm just looking out for you, Kimmy. I don't want you to get hurt like with your ex. I appreciated her concern. She was being a protective friend, right? Looking out for me. But the comments kept coming, and they started affecting me. I'd find myself doubting Tund, questioning things, feeling insecure. One evening, I came home early from work and found Bisola and Tund on the couch, talking and laughing. Nothing inappropriate. They were just chatting. But when I walked in, they both looked startled, like I'd interrupted something. Hey babe, Tund said, standing up quickly. I came to surprise you, but you weren't home yet. Bisola and I were just talking. About what? I asked, trying to keep my tone casual. Just guy stuff, Bisola said with a laugh. He was asking my opinion on something. What something? They exchanged a look. He wanted to surprise you with something special. I can't tell you, or it'll ruin the surprise. It sounded reasonable, but that weird feeling was back. Over the next few months, I noticed Bisola and Tund had gotten close. Too close. They'd have inside jokes. They'd text each other directly instead of going through me. When Tund came over, he'd spend time chatting with Bisola before we'd go out. I'm glad you two get along so well, I told Bisola one day, trying to sound positive. Of course. He's family now, right? If you marry him, he'll be my brother-in-law. Might as well build a good relationship. It made sense. I was being paranoid. Insecure. They were just being friendly because they both cared about me. But then came my 30th birthday, 8 months ago. Tund had planned a surprise party for me, rented a venue, invited all my friends, colleagues, family. It was beautiful. Perfect. I was so happy, surrounded by people I loved. Bisola gave a toast. To Kimmy, my best friend of 10 years. My sister. The most loyal, trusting, kind person I know. Here's to 30 more years of friendship. Everyone applauded. I hugged her, tears in my eyes. That night felt like the peak of my happiness. I had a thriving business, an amazing boyfriend who loved me enough to plan an elaborate surprise, and my best friend by my side through everything. 2 weeks later, my world collapsed. I'd been feeling off about Tund. He'd been distant, always busy, making excuses not to see me. When we did see each other, he seemed distracted. I confided in Bisola. I think something's wrong with Tund. Do you think he's losing interest? She hugged me. Don't overthink it, babe. He's probably just stressed with work. Men get like that. But my gut told me something was wrong. So I did something I'm not proud of. I checked his phone when he fell asleep at my place one night. What I found destroyed me. Months of messages between Tund and Bisola. Not innocent friendship messages. Intimate messages. Sexual messages. Love messages. Messages going back almost a year. Starting just a few months after I'd introduced them. I can't stop thinking about last night. When can we be together again? Sneaking around is killing me. I know this is wrong, but I've never felt this way about anyone. What are we going to do about Kimmy? We'll figure it out. Just give me more time. I scrolled through, my hands shaking, my heart shattering with every message. Photos they'd sent each other. Plans they'd made to meet up while I was at work. Discussions about how to eventually tell me, or whether to just let me figure it out myself. The most devastating message was from Bisola, sent a week before my birthday party. I feel bad sometimes. She trusts me completely. She has no idea. But I can't help how I feel about you. And honestly, Tund, I think I'm better for you than she is. I understand you in ways she never could. Tund's response, I know. She's great. But you and I, we just connect differently. Soon. I promise. After her birthday, I'll find a way to end things gently. They planned to wait until after my birthday party, the party where Bisola gave that toast about loyalty and friendship, to break my heart. I woke Tund up, threw the phone at him. How long? I asked, my voice surprisingly calm despite the storm inside me. He went pale. Kimmy, how long have you been sleeping with my best friend? He couldn't answer. His silence was answer enough. I threw him out of my apartment that night. Then I sat in the dark, waiting for Bisola to come home from her work drinks, which I now realized was probably another lie, another secret meetup with my boyfriend. She came home around 2 a.m., tipsy, smiling. When she saw me sitting in the dark living room, her smile faltered. Kemi, why are you still awake? Are you okay? How long, Bisola? She froze. What? How long have you been sleeping with Tand? The color drained from her face. For a long moment, she said nothing. Then she sat down, and what came out of her mouth was worse than the betrayal itself. Since last year, she said quietly. It wasn't planned. It just happened. It just happened. For months. Behind my back. While I trusted both of you completely. I didn't mean to fall for him, Kemi. But when we'd talk, when we'd spend time together, we connected. In ways you two didn't. He was my boyfriend. You were my best friend. I know, she burst out. And I felt guilty, okay? But I couldn't help how I felt. And honestly, Kemi, you have to understand. You've always had everything. Growing up with educated parents who could afford to send you to good schools. Having opportunities one never had. Even here in Lagos, things always work out for you easier. Your business, your life, everything. Can't I have just one thing? Can't I have someone who actually loves me for me? I stared at her in disbelief. So you're making this about you? About how I supposedly have everything and you have nothing? We built our Lagos lives together. I supported you. I helped you. I loved you like a sister. And I appreciated it. But you don't know what it's like to always be the second one. The friend who's pretty, but not as pretty. Successful, but not as successful. The one who's always in your shadow. I never put you in any shadow. I celebrated you. I supported your dreams. Because you could afford to be generous. Because you already had enough. The jealousy in her voice was toxic, venomous. And suddenly I realized, this wasn't new. This had been there all along, hiding behind her smiles and hugs, and, I'm so happy for you comments. Bisola had never been my friend. She'd been my enemy, wearing a best friend's mask. Get out, I said quietly. Kemi, get out of my apartment. Now. She left that night. I haven't spoken to her since. But the damage was far worse than just losing a boyfriend and a best friend. Over the next few weeks, I discovered the full extent of Bisola's betrayal. She'd been stealing from me. Small amounts from our shared grocery fund at first, then larger amounts when I'd given her access to my business account to help with some administrative tasks. Over 2 years, she'd taken nearly 800,000 naira. She'd been bad-mouthing me to our mutual friends, planting seeds of doubt about my character, my business practices, my relationships. When our friends had to choose sides after the breakup, many chose hers, because she'd already spent months poisoning them against me. She'd sabotaged some of my business deals. I discovered she'd contacted some of my clients pretending to be me, giving bad advice and poor service, damaging my reputation. 2 major clients had left because of my unprofessional behavior that was actually Bisola pretending to be me. She'd been reading my journals. I'd always kept a private journal where I wrote my deepest thoughts, fears, insecurities. She'd read them all, learning everything about me, understanding exactly where I was vulnerable, exactly how to hurt me. The woman I'd called my best friend for 10 years had been systematically working to destroy me while smiling to my face. The psychological damage was profound. I stopped trusting anyone. I closed my business because I couldn't focus, couldn't function. I went to therapy for months, trying to process the betrayal. My therapist helped me understand something crucial. Bisola had never been my friend. From the very beginning, she'd been envious. Every time I succeeded, every time something good happened to me, she smiled and congratulated me while resenting me internally. The friendship I thought we had was one-sided. I was being a real friend to her, loyal, supportive, generous. She was being a strategic enemy to me, watching, learning, waiting for opportunities to take what I had or destroy what she couldn't take. 10 years. 10 years of lies. 10 years of pretending. 10 years of someone studying me, learning my weaknesses, preparing to destroy me. That's what hurts the most. Not just the betrayal with Tand, though that was devastating, but the realization that the friendship I treasured, the bond one thought was unbreakable, the love I thought was mutual, none of it was real. I grieved that friendship harder than I grieved the relationship. Because at least with Tund, we'd only been together 2 years. But Bisola? 10 years of my life. 10 years of trust. 10 years of believing someone had my back when they were actually holding a knife to it. It's been a year now. I've rebuilt slowly. Started my business again, smaller and more careful. Made new friends, though I'm more guarded now. Started dating again, though trust doesn't come easily. Bisola and Tund didn't end up together, ironically. Once she'd successfully destroyed my relationship and our friendship, she lost interest in him. He reached out to me months later, trying to apologize, claiming she'd manipulated him. I didn't care. They both betrayed me. They both deserve each other's misery. I learned painful lessons from this experience. Not everyone who calls you friend is your friend. Some people befriend you because they want to be close enough to hurt you. Jealousy doesn't always announce itself. It smiles at you. It celebrates with you. It learns everything about you while planning to use it against you. Time doesn't guarantee loyalty. 10 years means nothing if the friendship was built on lies and envy. Trust your instincts. When something feels off, investigate. Don't dismiss your gut feelings because you want to believe the best in people. Protect yourself. Don't give anyone, even your best friend, complete access to your life, your passwords, your business, your vulnerabilities. Some people don't want to build their own success. They want to destroy yours. If I could go back and talk to 20-year-old Kemi, sitting next to Bisola on that first day of orientation, I'd tell her, be friendly, but be careful. That girl smiling at you isn't looking for a sister. She's looking for a target. But I can't go back. All I can do is move forward, wiser and warier, carrying the expensive lessons that friendship betrayal taught me. The best friend I thought I knew for 10 years was a stranger. A dangerous stranger who knew everything about me and used it as ammunition. And that's the scariest kind of enemy. The one who knows where you're weakest, because you showed them yourself, thinking they were safe. I'm sharing this story not for pity, but as a warning. If you have a friend who seems jealous of your wins, who makes backhanded comments, who seems too interested in every detail of your life, who gets too close to your romantic partners, pay attention. Those aren't paranoid thoughts. Those are warning signs. Not all betrayal comes from obvious enemies. Sometimes it comes from the person sleeping in the room next to yours, eating from your fridge, calling you sis, and plotting your downfall. Protect yourself. Guard your heart. And remember that real friends celebrate your success without resenting it, support you without undermining you, and love you without competing with you. Bisola wasn't a real friend. She never was. And recognizing that, though painful, set me free. If this story resonated with you, if you've experienced friendship betrayal, if you need this warning about toxic people disguised as best friends, please subscribe to this channel. Hit that notification bell for more real stories about real betrayals and the lessons we learned from them. Drop a comment below. Have you ever been betrayed by a close friend? How did you recover? What signs did you miss? Let's talk about it. Your story might help someone else recognize the danger before it's too late. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Someone who's too trusting. Someone who's in a friendship that feels one-sided. Someone who needs a reminder to protect their peace. Thank you for listening to my painful story. Thank you for not judging me for being naive, for trusting too completely, for missing the signs. We all want to believe the best in people, especially those we love. That's not weakness, that's humanity. But humanity needs to be balanced with wisdom. And wisdom says, protect yourself, even from those who call you their best friend. Until next time, stay wise, stay protected, and remember, your real friends want to see you win. If someone close to you secretly resents your success, they're not your friend. They're your enemy in disguise. And the sooner you recognize that, the sooner you can save yourself from the destruction I couldn't avoid.